She freezes mid-stride. Her hand lifts, flat and silent, and 6 bodies drop instantly into the dry grass behind her. No one has made a sound. Vultures are landing near a thicket, and that single piece of information has just passed through an entire family without a single word. This is East Africa, roughly 3 million years ago. Homo sapiens doesn't exist yet. Neither does language as we understand it. And yet danger, direction, and decision are already moving between these bodies in real time. For most of our story, there are no words. No one could call a name across the grass. No one could shout a warning. No one could tell a story after the sun went down. And still, humans survived, taught their children, mourned their dead, and quietly built the foundations of everything we would eventually say out loud. So before the first word was ever spoken, how do we actually talk to each other? The real answer is older, stranger, and far more physical than most people imagine. To understand the silence, look at the body itself. In our earliest ancestors, the voice box sat high in the throat, almost level with the nose, perfect for breathing and swallowing at once, but useless for shaping vowels. A small pouch called a laryngeal air sac amplified loud calls, not clear words. We know this from fossils like the Dakika child, a 3.3 million-year-old infant whose tiny throat bone survived intact. It looks almost exactly like a chimpanzee's. The anatomy tells a simple story. The body could produce calls, but it still wasn't built for speech. And yet these same ancestors were already walking as one. At Litoli in Tanzania, 3 individuals left footprints in wet volcanic ash 3.6 million years ago, walking close together, in step, in contact. The body wasn't ready for speech, but it was already built for something else. Watching each other, moving together, reading danger off another person's spine before a single sound was made. Watch 2 chimpanzees, and you'll notice something. Their hand gestures are flexible and deliberate. Their calls are not. A scream, a hoot, a grunt. These erupt from an older, involuntary part of the brain. But a raised hand, a pointed finger, that's a choice. Early humans shared this same split, and they had one more advantage apes lack: white eyes. Human sclera is uniquely visible, turning every glance into a signal the whole group can read. Follow someone's eyes, and you follow their attention toward food, toward danger, toward each other. From there came something remarkable, pointing not just to demand, but to share, to say without any words at all, "Look at that with me." That simple shift changed everything. For the first time, attention itself could become something people shared on purpose. Long before any word existed, the hand and the eye were already doing the work language would later inherit. Around 1.8 million years ago, a new kind of human appears, Homo erectus. Bigger brain, longer legs, and a communication system built almost entirely from the body. Homo erectus made Acheulean hand axes, symmetrical stone tools that took real skill to shape. Experiments with modern toolmakers show something surprising. You cannot teach this technique with words alone. It has to be shown hand over hand, again and again for years. This is how knowledge survived, not through conversation, but through imitation. One pair of hands showed the next, until skill itself became memory. A hunter could crouch low, mimic a startled deer, then mime the throw of a spear, and every watching child would understand exactly what happened that day and what to do next time. This wasn't a lesser version of language. It was a complete one, carried entirely in muscle, posture, and repetition, passed down across 1 million years and 3 continents, long before anyone needed a single spoken word. Then came fire, and with it, something no gesture could reach: the dark. Once a hunting band controlled flame, the day no longer ended at sunset. But in firelight, hand signals lose their power. You can't read a pointed finger you can't see. So the night pushed hominins toward a different channel entirely: sound. Around the fire, humming, chanting, and rhythmic vocal play likely became a nightly ritual, reinforcing bonds words hadn't yet been invented to carry. The body was catching up too. Hyoid bones from Cima de los Huesos in Spain, dated to over 400,000 years ago, are strikingly modern. The ancient air sacs gone completely, and bioengineering studies of the inner ear from that same population show hearing tuned to a 5 kHz range, precisely the frequencies of modern consonants. The ears were ready for speech before we have solid proof the mouth was. Evolution was building the instrument in pieces long before anyone could play the whole song. Somewhere around 300,000 years ago, something changes. At Twin Rivers in Zambia, early humans weren't just using pigment, they were choosing it. They carried a rare, shimmering mineral called specularite over 24 kilometers, walking past ordinary iron or to get it. Color, it seems, had become a message. Tens of thousands of years later, at Skull Cave in Israel and Grotte Pigeons in Morocco, people were drilling holes into small seashells and wearing them. Shells carried many kilometers from the coast. A shell only becomes a message when everyone who sees it understands what it means. And at Blombos Cave in South Africa, about 77,000 years ago, someone engraved a deliberate cross-hatched pattern into ochre. One of the earliest marks that means something only because people agreed it would. This is the real turning point. Not the first sound, but the first symbol, meaning stored outside the body for the first time in Earth's history. For most of the last century, Neanderthals were drawn as grunting, speechless brutes. That picture is wrong, and we know it because of a single neck bone. In 1989, at Kabr Cave in Israel, researchers uncovered a Neanderthal hyoid bone dated to roughly 60,000 years ago. It isn't ape-like at all. It's essentially modern, and biomechanical modeling shows it carried the same physical loads a modern human hyoid does during speech. Their ears back this up. Hearing studies suggest Neanderthals could detect sounds up to 5 kHz, the exact range of human consonants. The evidence keeps pointing in the same direction. Their bodies were built for far more than simple grunts. But they weren't identical to us. Neanderthals lacked certain regulatory tweaks modern humans evolved, subtle genetic differences that may have shaped how finely their brains controlled the voice. The honest answer: Neanderthals likely could speak, just not, perhaps, exactly like we do. This one small bone quietly rewrote a century of assumption. So somewhere between a silent hand in the grass and a word spoken aloud, humanity crossed an invisible line. But here's what the evidence actually tells us. That line wasn't a wall. It was a slow layering. Gesture, gaze, rhythm, symbol, and finally voice, each one stacking on top of the last. And none of it disappeared. Watch anyone tell a story today, and their hands still move. Watch any parent soothe a baby, and their voice still rises into that same exaggerated, melodic motherese our ancestors likely used 1,000,000 years ago. Every time you read a face across a room in silence, you're using the oldest language humans ever had. Speech didn't erase that ancient language. It simply gave it a new voice. Everything that came before was still there, carrying every word we speak today. That silence never ended. It's still speaking, in every glance, every gesture, every breath before someone finally says what they mean. Thanks for watching.